Listen, man, there's a lot of really cool stories out there.
There's only one place to start, though.
There's only one place to start, bro, and that's Prime, baby. Let's go to Boulder, man. I mean, I know it was in Fort Worth, but let's go to Boulder now because they're there now.
Yeah.
TCU national championship game last year, obviously lost the game, but came back in number 12 in the country.
17.
Playing 17? Oh, okay. They were 12 at one point. 17 in the country, played against the new look Colorado Buffaloes with one Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, coaching them. And Deion came in and did his damn thing, bro. What'd you think about that game?
I mean, okay, I want to start here because there's a lot of this right now of people that's like, I believed or I didn't believe and I believe now type stuff. At the end of the day, nobody had any clue outside of that organization. So like if you could like maybe had a feeling or maybe had some reasons why you think, but no one could explicitly say going into Saturday, one way or the other, this is going to work or this is going to not work.
Yep.
And the reason isn't because Deion Sanders was the head coach or Shedeur Sanders was the quarterback or any of that. It's because they brought in 87 new players. Nobody knew. Like, nobody knew what this here's what I was thinking about earlier when I was thinking about how I was going to kind of phrase this and word this. Colorado this year is like if college football added an expansion team and people were acting like they knew how that team would play.
Right.
Because we've never seen this team play together. In the history of college football, we've never been able to say this is a completely, entirely different from top to bottom coaching staff, players on the field, new team. Yeah. Colorado this year is literally like college football added an expansion team. No one knew what to expect. Like I said, there were some things that we did know. We know Deion was successful at Jackson State. So the people that said they believed he could coach, I'm with that because I was in that boat as well with what he did there. We knew Shedeur Sanders was talented. He was talented coming out of high school. I know it's an FCS school, but proved at Jackson State that he does have talent. Everyone in the world knows that Travis Hunter is good. He was the number one player in the country 2 years ago, so there's no debating if he is a talented player or not. Outside of that, everything was pretty much unknown. Everything. But at the end of the day, they come out, they beat a top 25 team, albeit this is probably only a top 25 team because they were in the national championship last year because they lost a ton. Max Duggan, Kendre Miller, Quentin Johnston, I can't think of the corner's name. It's LaDainian Tomlinson's nephew. I think it's Trevin Hodges Tomlinson or Tomlinson Hodges. Yeah. They lost pretty much all of their best players from last year. So regardless, that none of that matters. They were 3 touchdown underdogs in this game.
Unbelievable.
They come out. Shedeur Sanders sets a school record in his first game for passing yards, over 500 passing yards.
Crazy.
Travis Hunter plays an absolutely absurd 119 overall snaps, has 11 catches for 119 yards, has an interception on defense, and a huge pass defended in the back of the end zone on a 3rd and 18 that should have been a touchdown, but he's just too good and got it away. And it's crazy. This team was confident, and that's why I say no one outside of the organization can say that they knew because, I mean, you've got before the day before the game, Travis Hunter is doing his podcast, which is awesome. That's, kind of what we're trying to do here at Bluff City Media. Travis Hunter has his own podcast, and he's talking about his top 5 Heisman candidates, and himself and Shedeur Sanders were both in there, and they're both now in the conversation, at least after week 1. And then he posted a picture on Instagram and said Heisman loading and went out and proved everything. Like it wasn't just talk. Like Travis Hunter is legit. He's the real deal. Deion came out today and said he should be the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 draft when he's draft eligible. Like he's legit. And there's so many different areas you can go with this and so many different statistics you can pull with this that are extremely impressive. Last year, Colorado had 2 100-yard receivers for the entire season. Like they had 2 receivers that had 100 yards in a game the entire season. They had four players that had over 100 receiving yards in their first game.
Unbelievable.
true freshman running back, Dylan Edwards, undersized guy. I think he's like 5'8", 160, 170 pounds. Number 2 overall player in Kansas, 4-star recruit. Deion has coached him since he was a kid, since he was playing like little league football. And his collegiate debut had 5 catches for 135 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown. He's a running back. Was electric, absolutely electric. Had a 75-yard touchdown. Had a receiving touchdown on 4th and 2 when they absolutely needed it and had to have it. So players stepped up on this team, and it was so much fun to watch. I can't remember the last time.
Oh, man.
Especially this early in the season that a storyline absolutely took over and captivated the college football world like this. Like, it was week 1, so there wasn't a lot going on. There was only one top 25 game, a game with 2 teams in the top 25, and that was not played on Saturday. It was played on Sunday night. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. Obviously, with the Mike Norvell connection, that'll be a lot of fun to talk about. But that was the only game, LSU and Florida State, that had 2 top 25 teams. The really only other, like, quote-unquote marquee game for the weekend was South Carolina, North Carolina. And Deion Sanders, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Colorado, they absolutely dominated.
They won the day, man. They won that day. You think Prime he's that good of a coach, isn't he? Like,
I think at the collegiate level that schemes and all that stuff matters to an extent, but I think being a leader of men at the collegiate level is more important than anything else, because you're dealing with 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
Right.
And not only do you have to get them to believe in the schemes and the system and the plays that you're running, but you have to get them to believe in you as a coach and your coaching staff, and you have to get them to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
Especially, at a school where you're bringing in 87 transfers. Some of these guys have been productive before, but some of them haven't. Like, some of them haven't played big time college football before.
Right.
So you have to be able to instill confidence in them. And if you watch anything from Deion, pregame, postgame, practices, anything you see of Deion, he's building his guys up and he's making them believe that they can win. And so, yes, I think Deion is that good of a coach, not only because he obviously understands the game at a high level and surrounded himself with coaches who believe, who have schemes and systems and have done this at a high level, but he's just putting a different level of confidence into these players that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Like, we know what we do, why you're here, and we believe, so it doesn't matter. And they showed that. They never backed down. Like, they counterpunched every punch that was thrown.
Every time
that they got hit, they came right back and returned fire.
And did it in ways that you're just like, you ain't got no shame, right? Like, you legitimately, it wasn't like they just kind of piddle-paddled up and down the field, man. Shedeur was chucking that thing. And it felt very ballsy the way that they played that game. Yeah. And that, to me, feels like that is Deion Sanders at his essence. Is he's always been that guy who's just like, hey, man, I'm better than you. And my belief that I'm better than you is worth 7-10 points.
Yeah, and you saw that in Shedeur as well.
Yeah, man.
This is a player that has never played at this level before. Never played at the FBS level, never played at the Division I level before, and never one time looked like it was too big for him, because it absolutely was not.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It never was. And that's another thing. Yes, you can have the coach that instills confidence and keeps everybody level and keeps everybody confident and, makes everyone believe in themselves. But you have to have someone that does that on the field as well.
Yeah.
And Shedeur is clearly that guy. Like, he did everything the team needed him to do early in the game. He's keeping short, slants, screens. Everything was underneath. And then as the game progressed, he just felt, okay, now we can take it to the second level, third level, and hit on these deeper balls. And just the composure that he had, the confidence that he played with, like, I am nothing but thoroughly impressed with what this team did from top to bottom. Like, yes, the defense wasn't great. No, they struggled mightily defensively. They're going to struggle with that all season, I believe. because they're going to, I mean, the Pac-12 is loaded with good quarterback play. I mean, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, like they're loaded with good quarterback play. So I think we'll see this defense get better, but I think they'll continue to struggle. But it's hard to say at this point right now where we sit after week 1, like they're going to get throttled in a bunch of games. I think their win total on the year was like 3.5. A lot of people probably took the over on that, and they're probably feeling really good about it. So Colorado is the storyline of this season, for better or for worse, whatever way it goes. Like they're going to get a lot of attention this year.
Did you see that story about that guy that made the bet on Colorado for this game and won $65,000 off one team, one game?
Yeah.